Okay, so have you heard about this movie? The Donald Trump biopic. Everyone's saying he hates it.
Oh, yeah. The Apprentice, right.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
But it's not about the reality show, the one he was
Right,
on.
right. This is different.
Yeah, it's supposed to be about like his early career in New York, how he made his money, all that. And of course, Roy Cohn is in it.
The infamous lawyer. I can see why it's controversial already.
Totally. And we're going to unpack all of it
Yeah.
right here in 20 minutes. So like, if you need to sound really smart about this movie, at your next dinner party or whatever.
Consider this your cheat sheet.
Exactly.
It's kind of wild, but this whole film is like a mini drama all by itself.
Yeah.
Like it mirrors all the power struggles and stuff that it's actually about.
Oh, totally.
Trump's trying to block it, or so they say. Studios are backing out left and right. I mean, the behind-the-scenes drama is almost as juicy as the actual story.
Okay, but speaking of juicy, we got our hands on excerpts from an interview with the director, Ali Abbasi.
Oh.
Yeah, and like, he doesn't hold back. Lawsuits, studios dropping out, you name it. Apparently, tackling this subject, especially now, well, it's not for the faint of heart.
It really makes you think about that whole artistic freedom versus political pressure thing, especially with the election coming up,
Totally. And Abbasi keeps saying, it's not a political statement, it's art. But come on, can you really separate the two?
Mm-hmm.
Especially with a subject like this.
All right, like how can you not see it through that lens? It's impossible.
Okay, but get this, and this is where it gets really interesting. To prove a point, right, Abbasi, he stayed at Trump International Hotel while he was doing press for the film.
Oh, no way. Seriously.
Yeah, can you imagine, like, running into Trump in the elevator?
Oh, the awkwardness.
So good. So good, though. But you know what I think is really interesting?
What's that?
Everyone's fixated on the scandalous parts,
Huh.
right? Like, apparently there's this whole scene, very intense, about the alleged assault on Ivana Trump.
Oh, right. I heard about that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a big deal, obviously. But while everyone's focused on that, Abbasi's also slipping in these really pointed critiques of Trump's business practices, like almost under the radar.
It's like he's using the scandal to sneak in the bigger picture stuff.
Exactly. He's like, oh, you want scandal? Let's talk about the housing discrimination lawsuits against the Trump organization. Or the tax loopholes.
Don't forget the Deutsche Bank loans.
Oh, yeah, those too. Like, he's pulling back the curtain on all of it.
It's the kind of stuff that doesn't always make headlines, but it's crucial if you really want to understand how Trump became, well, Trump.
Okay, so get ready, because we are about to go full Law and Order as we break down all these business dealings and what they reveal about Trump's rise to power.
So this is where it gets really interesting. You're digging into Trump's business dealings back in the 70s and 80s. Like, this is where the movie The Apprentice, it goes from just being a biopic, right, to like almost a lesson in how these systems, not just personalities, but how systems create these, these powerful figures.
Okay, so less lifestyles of the rich and famous and more like, what's that saying? How to get rich, allegedly, without really trying.
Exactly.
So give me a Spark Notes version here. What did Abbasi actually find?
Okay, so picture this. The Trump organization, back in the day, allegedly, they're denying housing to people of color, right? Systematically. And they're finding ways, allegedly, to get around all the fair housing laws. We're talking potential lawsuits, coded language, the whole 9 yards.
Wow, okay, so this isn't just some real estate drama.
Yeah.
You're saying this film that everyone thought was going to be about, like, Trump's hair or whatever, it's actually about, like, systemic issues, you know, issues that have been around for, like, decades.
That's exactly it. And don't forget about those tax breaks we were talking about.
Oh, right, right.
The movie, it suggests that he used his connections and all that to basically allegedly exploit tax loopholes. So he was able to minimize his taxes, all legally, of course, while he was building this massive empire.
Okay, so we've got the alleged housing discrimination, the tax stuff. This is starting to sound a little bit like The Wolf of Wall Street, but with skyscrapers, right?
Right. And then there's, of course, those Deutsche Bank loans.
Oh, yeah, those were shady.
Abbasi, he kind of hints that there's this pattern of risky business deals, always pushing the limits, even back then. Like, he's showing us this system where someone like Trump could actually thrive, even if they're operating in this, like, gray area legally.
So it's that whole, like, it's not what you know, it's who you know kind of thing.
Exactly.
But, like, taken to the extreme.
Exactly. And Abbasi, he's not just like making accusations, he's connecting these incidents in the film to show us this pattern of behavior. This is bigger than just one bad business deal gone wrong.
And that's what's so interesting, right? Because if this movie is accurate, it's not just like going after Trump. It's like it's showing how the whole system is messed up, like the system that allowed him to gain power in the first place.
Exactly. It's that nuance that gets lost in all the headlines and the gossip. This isn't about pointing fingers at one person. It's about understanding how these systems work. The ones that let someone like Trump succeed, no matter their political views.
It's like we're obsessed with the scandal itself, but maybe the real scandal is the system, right? Like it's kind of chilling when you think about it. Okay, but we haven't even gotten to Sebastian Stan playing Trump yet. Okay, but Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump, that's got to be like the most unexpected casting choice ever.
It's like, what, Bucky Barnes as Trump? It's almost too much to process.
Right. It's like when they said Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman totally out of left field.
And Abbasi, the director, he actually said that Stan taking this role, it was a brave choice, especially considering, he's like a Marvel heartthrob and all.
It's not like he needs this gig, Like, career-wise, it's a risk.
Huge risk. And that's what I find so fascinating. Like, what did Stan see in this character?
Yeah.
What made him say, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be Donald Trump.
Right. With all the baggage, the scrutiny.
The potential backlash.
Exactly. And that's where this casting thing, it becomes more than just a Hollywood thing, Like, it makes us think about our own biases. Can we watch this movie and separate Sebastian Stan, the actor, from Trump?
It's like, can you see past the Winter Soldier and see Trump in there?
Exactly. And especially with someone like Trump, he's already such a caricature,
Larger than life.
Totally. So is Stan going to play into that? Or is he going to try to find, the humanity, the person underneath it all?
That's the million-dollar question. And it seems like that's what Abbasi's going for, He doesn't want this movie to be one-dimensional. He wants to understand the why.
It's about the context, right? Like, how did Trump become Trump?
The systems, the people around him, the choices he made.
It's like he's saying, if we want to understand now, we have to understand then.
Right. No matter how uncomfortable it might be.
And that's why I think this movie, The Apprentice, it's more than just a biopic. It's a moment. It's reflecting our world right now.
Especially with the election, yeah.
It makes us ask, what stories are we telling about ourselves? And are we being honest?
Big questions. And those are the ones we should be asking.
Totally. And that's what this deep dive has been all about. It's not just about a movie, right? It's about power. It's about how systems work. It's about taking risks.
And it's about figuring out what's true, especially in a world where, information is everywhere, but,
It's hard to know what to trust.
Exactly.
Well, hey, that's what we're here for, right? This is the deep dive. We're going to keep digging, keep asking the tough questions, and hopefully we can all make a little more sense of it all.
One deep dive at a time.